Hi, this is Loren Lockman coming to you from the Tanglewood Wellness Center in Costa Rica. I've been asked today to speak a little bit about how do we get our body's needs for essential fatty acids met? EPA, the omega fatty acids. How can we ensure we're doing that if we're living on a raw vegan diet? If we're consuming primarily fruit and soft, tender leafy greens, as I advise, with virtually no nuts and seeds, how are we going to meet the body's needs? Well, first of all, let me clarify for everybody that if you're watching this at home or somewhere else, and you've just changed your diet. If you've been eating a standard American diet, you've been probably getting between 25 and 35% of your calories from fat. Okay? Now what that means is that your body has become very inefficient with regard to processing fat. It's kind of like what we were talking about just yesterday, the law of efficiency. The more you throw at the system, the less efficient it will become. Does that make sense? It simply doesn't need to process all that fat, so it becomes less efficient. All right? So, although eating a diet of mono fruit meals and simple leafy green salads is, in my opinion, the optimal diet for the human body and the best we can do in a clean and well-functioning system, depending on where you are right now, that may not describe you. Okay? That may not work for you. Many people find when they adopt a raw diet that they actually crave nuts and seeds. And it may well be partly because they need those concentrated sources of fat, because their body is very inefficient and is used to getting a ton of its calories from fat. You want to be careful though. There are raw foodists that are consuming 50-60% of their calories from fat. That's a huge mistake. Okay, we don't want to make it worse than it already was. What we want to do is, if you're feeling that need, you go ahead and you add some soaked walnuts or almonds, if you can get them raw, to your food, or some sunflower seeds, avocados. However, having fasted, and everybody sitting here with me today is fasting at least 21 days, and some of you 42 days, okay? You're going to be fasting for 26 days, right? Well, fasting 26 days, I can assure you that when you're finished, you will have no trouble getting your fatty acid needs met from eating the simple natural foods that your body was actually designed for, which is fruit and soft, tender leafy greens. Okay? Remember, we share almost exactly the same digestive tract as our closest primate relatives, the chimpanzees and the bonobos. Well, they eat a lot of fish, right? They take B12 supplements, don't they? No, they don't. Now, they do eat insects, and but what I would encourage you to do is, first of all, remember that B12 is manufactured by bacteria, because you'd also asked about B12. It's manufactured by bacteria. You have more bacteria in your body than your own human cells. Okay? Your body, there's plenty of B12 being produced right in your body every single day. What's the problem? The problem for most people is they're simply not accessing it. They're not able to get to it. And this is why people who eat animal products, which are loaded with B12, because they're loaded with bacteria, have the exact same incidence of clinical B12 deficiency problems as vegans and vegetarians. Now, if you think you've heard otherwise, you're misunderstanding, because what you've actually heard is that vegetarians and vegans tend to have low serum B12 levels. That's as compared to what medicine says they should be. In other words, medicine says you should have X, and you only have half X. But vegans and vegetarians have no greater incidence of actual clinical problems, that is, real physical or mental issues created by a lack of B12. So although they're showing up with lower B12, there aren't really fewer problems. Okay? How is that? It's because people with cleaner systems, people that are not eating animal products, are much more likely to be able to properly absorb and assimilate what they're consuming. Okay? So the same that goes for B12 goes for these fatty acids. It's not an issue. There is no species on the planet that needs to consume supplements or needs to eat anything outside of its natural dietary, that is, the things that its body was naturally designed for. So, how much fish do you think you'd be eating if you lived here in the tropics and didn't have a store? You lived in the jungle. You can eat a lot of fish? I doubt it. Not very likely. You're not going to catch it very well with your bare hands, and you're not really that attracted to it. We don't need to, because fat exists in every single living cell. And the question is, how efficient is your body? Is your body able to get what it needs or not? Now, if you haven't water fasted, chances are good, and I mean for at least 21 days or more, and correctly, because a lot of people don't do this correctly on their own. If you haven't done that, chances are good, no matter what your diet is, your body is not nearly as efficient as it could be. Okay? But once your body is as efficient as it can be, getting those needs met is easy. Everything we need is available in trace amounts all over the place, and we never have to pay attention to it. The key, as I've said to you guys before, and to you if you watch my other videos, the key is in learning how to listen to your own body. Now, here's the problem. Can the average person just begin to listen to their body and get good messages? Not necessarily. Why not? Well, if they're addicted to anything at all, and that includes nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, cocaine, heroin, speed, bread, or meat, or sugar, or popcorn, any of those substances, what happens is your body's going to send you the message to consume those things. Not because you really need them, but because that's what addictions do. They have us craving things that are actually harmful to us. So the key is to get your body clean and then learn to listen to it. But once your body is clean, getting those needs met is no harder for us than it is for any other species on the planet. If you believe, as I do, that we're naturally vegans, well then why would we need to worry about getting something that, that comes, oh yeah, it's in concentrated form in animal products. But you know what they say? I mean, here's the logic of nutrition. The experts say you should be consuming deep water fish, salmon, mackerel, etc. Why? Because they have loads of these fatty acids, essential fatty acids that we need, the omega fatty acids. Unless you're pregnant or breastfeeding, in which case you should not consume them. Why not? Well, because they have high levels of mercury and other toxic substances. Well, wait a second. If they're toxic to the baby, to the fetus, why aren't they toxic to us? Oh, they are. So we're being told to consume something that's poisonous to us so we don't need to do that. We never, ever need to do that. Okay? We don't need to consume toxic substances to get our needs met. Like every other species, we can easily get our needs met naturally by getting the body clean, first of all, and second of all, consuming those things that are actually natural to our bodies. There's nothing else we need to do. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to experience that. Those of you that are here with me that are fasting for 21, 26, 30, 42 days, you're going to find that if you follow the program I've given you, you'll have no trouble getting those needs met. No trouble at all. Okay, it's nothing you ever have to worry about. Okay? Hope that helps.